勝ったら全角シュート決めるシュート
ワンフォールオールフォーワンだ
そうだサッカーは
So, Blue Lock is definitely the most popular sports anime out right now. For the few of you who don't know what it is, Blue Lock can best be described as a profile picture on every Valorant player's Discord.
Because left
Oh my god, no one saw that shit!
You wanna talk about that?
No! But in all seriousness, Blue Lock is a popular manga and anime series created by Muneyuki Kaneshiro and Yusuke Nomura. The story revolves around a group of talented high school soccer players who are selected to participate in a specialized training program called Blue Lock, aimed at creating the ultimate striker for the national team. The intense competition, psychological battles, and tactical challenges push the players to their limits, resulting in a thrilling and gripping sports narrative. I definitely did not use ChatGPT for that. So why is this show getting so much attention? Well, as common with many shows that have come out these last few seasons, it has done a great job going against the grain. The main concept of the show is the idea that in order to be the world's best striker, you must also be the world's greatest egotist. A clear drift from the usual teamwork conquers all that we see in most sports anime. Ego Jinpachi's main argument is that Japanese society is way too predicated on everyone being sort of a cog in the machine, that no one wants to stand out. What I love about this being talked about is it discusses the massive cultural differences in the West compared to Southeast and Eastern Asia, as well as how history determines culture. One of the best examples you can find is just by looking at the art. In the United States, the most memorable art shows a rebellious fight against a much stronger foe, while the Eastern art exemplifies nature and how compared to nature and the world as a whole, the individual is small. America was founded on the idea of saying whatever you please, acknowledging no royalty other than God himself, thus creating such a difference in culture that we see today, as well as how that leaks into which sports each nation succeeds in and which ones they don't, which I'm really happy Ego talked about.
First, let's talk about the country of Japan. The people here love to have roles allocated to them so they know their place and can complete their assigned tasks. For instance, take one of the few major sports where Japan's on par with the rest of the world. Baseball. Its inning system has distinct periods for offense and defense, and there's no physical contact on the field. Each individual role is clearly defined, and it fits the Japanese psyche like a baseball glove, if you will. Thus, we're successful. But soccer is different. It has an open field where offense and defense alternate as the situation demands, and it can be very physical. In this sport, you can't win by simply carrying out tasks tied to your position. You need much, much more. Individual skills that separate you from the pack.
This is why, since joining Worlds for League of Legends in 2012, agents have won every single one of them for League of Legends. In League of Legends, there's 3 roles and a jungle, and each player has a certain role that is very clearly defined. Meanwhile, a game like Valorant, where everyone is fully capable of one-shotting people, they haven't been able to win a single VCT, and didn't even place in the first one.
バカその発言がぬるいって言ってんだよいいか例えばノエルノア現在世界最高のストライカーと称される彼はフランスのスラム街で育った犯罪と貧困の中で彼にとって自分の運命を変える術はボール一つ比喩でも何でもなくサッカーだけだった
This explains why in the United States, for example, many pro athletes come from low-income neighborhoods. The West, especially the United States, has a massive wage gap. This has led many people to live rough lives where they feel like lucrative lifestyles like music or basketball is their only ticket out of poverty. That is why many hoods, no matter how dangerous they are, has something called a Hooper's Pass, where if someone is playing basketball in college or in high school, no matter how violent the area is, gangs will generally leave them alone because they see that person with an actual opportunity to make it out of the hood. This idea that you have to be the best at a sport or get killed in a drive-by shooting, for example, or how kids in the favela in Brazil believe that soccer is their only way out, clearly forces them to develop some sort of ego, and perhaps a chip on their shoulder. So I see many people in the community try to misinterpret what ego is in this show and even try to sugarcoat it. Some say it just means be fair to yourself. Others say it just means don't think too little of yourself. Some even say it's just a roundabout way of teamwork because as a striker, you're scoring for the sake of your team. While all of these points have some semblance of truth, the message of ego essentially is to be an egotistical monster during the game. Be himothy, be selfish, F the power of friendship. It's F your team and all that good stuff. Essentially this.
よく詰めてた。どんだけ走ったんだ。あれ？どこ行くんだ？くそ。俺が潰したんだ。こいつら11人の夢を。俺のゴールが。これが勝つってことか。ああ、なんだよこれ。気持ちいい。
So, is there any truth to this? Well, the short answer is yes. Here's an example. You ever play pickup basketball and someone just shoots your team out of the game? Man's throwing up straight bricks, but nobody has enough ego to prevent him from grabbing the ball. So everybody would just passively watch as he throws your chances of winning. He'll go 0-15 and then just blame everybody but him. However, when finally someone has the balls to tell someone that could be twice their height to pass the ball, or that they're straight booty cheeks, yeah, it could lead to an argument. But at least your team now stands a chance at winning. Or better yet, when he screams, "I'm open," having enough of an ego to ignore him and take the damn shot because his breaks are making the court sound like a damn gun range. Actually a perfect example of this in the show.
その俺からしか見えない空間。視覚の闇を切り裂くこの一瞬をお前は待っていた。この光になればいい。見ろバロー。俺はお前に適応する。お前が生み出したフィールドの闇は俺が食って光に変える。こいつ自分のゴールのためにこの俺を使いやがった。それとバロー、お前は今まで通りプレイしろ。足手まといになんなよ。は？俺たちの邪魔すんなっつってんだよ。下手くそ。
At the end of the day, there's a reason why some of the greats in sports have the highest egos. In all of sports, yes, even esports, theoretically perfect teamwork wins. However, the thing is that teamwork has a lot of variables that can go wrong. You also need to remember that there's another team of players and coaching that are planning to work together to stop you. No matter how good the coach is, in sports, things are often way too dynamic to be completely calculated. Someone needs to be able to individually take over the game when the planning isn't working. You need to be able to hit ridiculous shots that will bail your team out of tough situations. If you can't occasionally ego your opponent, your plays will become predictable. If you cannot hit shots that are seemingly impossible, there is no team in the world that won't just eventually figure out your teamwork and play against you. When you are able to hit shots that are so ridiculous that the opposing team has to change their strategies to respond to it, then your team stands a legitimate chance at winning. A perfect example of this are players like Steph Curry or Damian Lillard, because these people are so good at shooting from so far away and they have the egos to take massive shots. The opposing team has to respect it. They have to respond to it. They have to push their defense further out into the midcourt, thus completely disrupting their inside and their general flow on the defensive end. Also, when it's a one-on-one, there's a lot less variables than if, let's say, you're working with the whole 5 or 11 players on the team.
ゴールの方程式。
So it's no secret that ego has its downsides. For example, in sports, many players with amazing talents have allowed their egos to get the best of them. The best example in recent years was a player known as Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo was one of the best scorers of all time. However, he was so egotistical that he never won because of it. He valued scoring over winning every single time.
Now, the only thing I will say, and I've even told Melo this, scoring 30 meant too much to Melo. It meant too much because he could have games where he had 20, 22, we win the game and he's mad. He might have 36 and he's in there, you know, we lose the game and he's in there picking everybody up. Scoring 30 meant too much. But I think now you look fast forward the tape, and the reason why he's not in the league because he's still worthy is he hasn't mentally taken that step back to say, okay, I'll come in and play against backups. I'll try to help the team out. I know I might not be able to close, but I just want to help.
Another example is that even though when he got to Oklahoma City he was clearly aging, the idea of him coming off the bench is something that he found laughable.
How do you feel about starting at the 4, or the concept of starting at the 4, or even coming off the bench? And the second question is...
Well, me?
Oh. I guess that answers that part.
I mean, I don't know where that started, where that came from. Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, how do you... I guess the bench question is not a...
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Throughout the history of sports, many players have actually put their pride aside, on their egos aside as well. Like, for example, when Chris Bosh agreed to be a third option on the Big Three Miami Heat, or when Andre Iguodala agreed to come off the bench. Funny enough, he ended up winning Finals MVP that year anyway. These aren't things that people with massive egos are capable of doing. For example, someone like Baru, if you really think about it, no matter how popular he is, the truth is, Baru Shishui barely wins. His team went 1-4 in the first stage, and in the second stage he went presumably 2-3. That means he has a total record of 3-7. He's not really a winner. Someone like Carmelo, for example, will always be remembered as a disappointment. Despite him being super talented and better than most, he is a disappointment because he never reached his potential because ego got in the way. There's also the fact that virtually every single game in Blue Lock requires some semblance of teamwork to win. In fact, Isagi only really scored like 2 goals in the first stage. Now, to be fair, Ego Jinpachi said that he would create the biggest egotist, not that he would find the biggest egotist. There is a difference. So, even though Isagi did technically get lucky, Ego's point of view, at least when it comes to creating the most egotistical strikers, still kind of stands. So if you were to ask me if I'm an egotistical person, as of right now I would say no. I just went through a bit of a bad friendship breakup, where if I had a bit more of an ego, I probably would still be friends with her. But that's for a whole other video. But I would like to share some of my own experiences. Now, I am not that comfortable showing my face, but in the spirit of an egotistical video, I chose to maybe give myself some more confidence. Hello there, so yeah, this is how I am. Isn't probably hear the fan, and the mic isn't so good. That's mostly because, well, as you can see by the number of subscribers that I have right now, which is 46, don't really have that much bread. That did look good. There's my messy bed. Life's been pretty hard lately, I ain't gonna cap. But to tell you about my experience with this ego, I want to make this part about more video, talking to you guys. I'm doing this in one take, by the way. I'm not re-editing or anything like that. If I messed up, I mess up. So on that note, I'll give you 2 good examples of where ego has actually helped me out. For starters, one where I didn't. I should have been more egotistical, one where it did help me. When I started playing basketball and I was pretty little, I always had a knack for shooting the ball. Yes, it was shooting the ball. One time, they were asking for shooters for a field day, and I believe I was like in 5th grade, yes. And they asked me if I wanted to partake. I got nervous and said no. The next day I went to the field day, I saw it, and everybody was booty cheeks. Like, they were god awful. Like, I would have won the whole thing. At the time, breaking into ego was when I actually allowed myself to be egotistical to the point that I was almost stubborn. Like I said, doing this all in one take. And there's the ego in me. So, there was this one player when we were playing pickup basketball, and I was a little kid. Mind you, I was my big brother's little brother. Kind of redundant as that comes out. He played with a bunch of his friends, and one of them was very good offensively. So he told me, Danny, don't worry about shooting the ball. First, like a good brother, I listened. After a while, I'd be left wide open. And I told my brother, why can't I have the ball? And he told me, it's because just let Manny carry the offense. And they probably don't remember this, but I remember this clear as day. I knew deep in my heart, I just said, F no. That's ridiculous. First of all, it's a pickup game. Like, if I shoot and I miss, like, oh, we're gonna lose the NBA championship, sorry. So I, like any little brother did, sat in the middle of the court and refused to move unless they passed me the ball. I would refuse to play defense, do anything, unless I got jump shots. And I finally got my first shot, and what do you think happened? I completely airballed. Do you think that stopped me? No, not even close. I insisted until now, when I ever play with them, this is many years later, but I am now the most reliable shooter. I am known mostly for my offense. This idea that I was going to just let somebody shoot every single shot, even at a young age, was so ridiculous to me that I refused to accept it. And yeah, I even played some basketball in high school. It definitely helped me out. And that was a moment where ego really helped me. So that's just a little bit of a video I want to tell you guys about. And in perfect egotistical fashion, I did not edit this at all. This is all done in one take. So this is the most authentic me you're ever going to get. So congrats, Danny, you did it. This is the first video you've ever recorded, edited, and wrote without SP. That's the initials of a certain someone, without SP's input. And yeah, it was hard, but you did it. Congratulations. And I know that it kills you because you really want to show it to her. I know that, for example, this is the first time you show your face in cam. And she would definitely have glazed you up. She would have said, look at this handsome boy, all the good stuff, but it's not gonna happen. And I know after the events of what happened, it's hard for you to hear this, but good job. Self-love is definitely not something I'm good at right now. You're good at. But I'm making this part because as of right now, June 11th, 3:30 a.m. in the year 2023, I have 46 YouTube subscribers, I have 15 followers on TikTok, and I have about 79 followers on Twitter. And I'm making this because I need to tell myself this because I want to give myself some love too. You will make it one day. You'll make it big, and people will look back at this video. And yeah, I feel cringe recording this, but the difference between cringe and inspirational is whether you make it or not. And you will make it. You will have an audience in you have an audience. You might be a caster in VCT or whatever popular esport at the moment. You will have a YouTube plaque. And as for SP, the person who inspired you, who got you, who got you into making these kind of content, yeah, she won't talk to you anymore. And that's fine. You were a good friend. You always tried, and everything you did was in good faith. You treated her as well as, as she frankly deserves to be treated, which is that you always tried your hardest. But she's not going to talk to you. I'm still not entirely sure why. This will make more sense to everyone else when I hit, when I hit 1,000 subscribers. I plan on making a video about it. Maybe 10K, 100K, who knows. But yeah, you did your best. She's not going to talk to you. And it's okay. It's alright. It happens. And it's a shame because every single achievement that I will get from now on, or have gotten since April 25th, I've wanted nothing more than to show it to her. I want to be like, look, SP, look what I'm doing, this and that. And I know she would have always glazed me up. She would have always hyped me up. She was so proud of the first video I made. But that's not going to happen, and you need to start doing this for your own sake. And I'm recording this because, for one, for myself, because I need to hear myself tell me this stuff. And two, because anybody else who might be going through something like this. As of right now, I have 46 subscribers. Who knows if you see this in a year or two. I mean, if you see this as soon as it comes out, it's not going to mean much, but years from now, I want people to look at this when I'm very well known and think, wow, look, this is what he was going through. And I am in a lot of pain. This is somebody that I gave my heart and soul to. Danny, this was someone we've never met anybody. You have never met anybody that you shared so much about yourself, your insecurities, only for that person to cut you off. Even though you know it's probably for the best, for both of you. It probably sucks that right now she's just enjoying her life that we know of. I don't truly know what's going on in her head, but she's still living her life, and you gotta keep living yours. It sucks because as of right now, she last I checked, I don't want to keep looking at her channel, but she was like at 30,000 subscribers, at least a few months ago, like a month or two. She probably at 35, 36K, and you're at 46. So I mean, obviously she has more of a life to live right now, but I'll make it one day. You will make it one day, and you'll look back at this. And I'm doing this because hopefully, I hope to God it inspires not only myself but other people. I am older than most people in my industry. When it comes to making these videos, I'm 26. When it comes to esports, I'm still 26. And it sucks because most of the people who are into that are about 19, 20 years old, and you feel like an old man. But my mindset behind that is Gigux 32, Connor's 27, Joey, I forgot exactly how old he is, but he's around the same age. And no one calls him cringe because they've already made it. So yeah, it's going to feel cringe now, because let's be honest, everybody I try to collab with is at least, the oldest I've met so far is 20, and the youngest has been 19. I don't work with people under that age, to be honest, but in 2 years, when everybody loves you, you're not going to care how old you were when you started. No one's going to care how old you were when you started. Then Silly, who I had an amazing conversation with, he's 39 and he's still the most famous caster, one of the most famous casters. So thank you, Danny, and I believe in you. You'll get through this, and I hope to God that at least this inspires anybody else. See you later.